Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session of Franchising with FASA. Joining us today is Tintswalo, Maluleke, and Nastassia, Lamont from Employment Professional. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Romany. Well, thanks, and you?
Good, good, good. So I just want to say a warm welcome to everyone out there. Hope 2020 or 2021 is a much better year than it was in 2020. So we're still waiting for Tintswalo. We're hoping she will be able to connect with us. And what we're going to be chatting about today is employment, recruitment franchising, and what things to consider going forward after all this pandemic and all these experiences. So we'll be back shortly to have a chat with Tintswalo, Maluleke, and Nastassia Lamont from Express Employment Professionals. So grab a cup of coffee, and also please, just to remind everyone, please share and like this with anybody who you feel may be interested in recruitment, interested in buying a franchise opportunity, and just wanting to understand what has changed in the work of employment, recruitment, etc. going forward. So, good morning, everyone. Hello, Natasha.
Hi, Romany. Hi, Romany. Thanks for having us.
Good, good, good. You may have to move a little. There we go. Perfect. I'm so delighted to be chatting with you ladies today because the working landscape has changed a bit. The recruitment has changed quite a bit. I'm listening to friends of mine who are sharing with me that some of them are working until 2 o'clock in the morning just to try and meet deadlines. Also because, they just feel so much under pressure. The whole landscape has changed. So can you share with us, Tintswalo, what has changed and what do people need to consider going forward when it comes to recruitment?
I'm glad you actually mentioned change, Romany, because I just want to start by giving context of how much change has happened recently. I was looking at a LinkedIn data article, and it was saying that since 2016, the demand for recruitment professional has risen to 63%. So that alone can tell you what's been happening in the landscape in the past couple of years. But over and above that, I want to start by just talking about what's happening in the landscape of job seekers. So we see that there is a general demand for higher skills. And this is very important because job seekers alone need to start channeling themselves towards getting those higher skills in order for them to be marketable. And we know that we've got a 30% unemployment rate in South Africa, but even with that, we still have a demand for higher skills. We still have a shortage for higher skills. So that's what we're observing. But another interesting thing that we're seeing is that job seekers are also looking for more flexibility, and with the availability of technology, digitization is allowing us to do that, and contract work is also allowing us to do that. It's one of our main offerings as well. So it's very important for job seekers to get advice from recruitment companies as to how and when to get started with their careers in that regard. But the government is also responding to the skills shortage. So we believe we're going to be seeing a lot of skill development programs, apprenticeships, learnerships, all in the direction of trying to that demand. And then we look at the companies now, because the companies are the ones that ought to be employing the people. Like I said earlier, higher skills. They're looking for higher skills, higher quality, and quicker. So they're also running on tight budgets a lot. So they want to be able to save every single penny. And with that being said, I was actually going through a peer-reviewed journal article the other day, and it cited that it can cost you up to 6 times a person's salary if you make the wrong hire. So companies are aware.
A little bit of just to interrupt there, we're having a little bit of a technical where we're hearing and not hearing. Just to make sure you've got no speakers close to your computer, external ones, a little bit away.
I've got a tablet in front of me. Let me switch it off.
Yes, maybe that will help a little bit with the connection. Because you were saying something so interesting just now, a few minutes back, about I was just trying to hear that where we cut off. So if you can just rephrase that, and then also and then also what skills you were mentioning higher skills earlier. What type of skills are those exactly?
Just give me a moment.
Maybe Nastassia can elaborate on the skills in the meantime while you're busy switching off the tablet.
Yes.
Nastassia?
Hi, Romany. So companies are definitely looking for higher skilled workers at the moment. We are in shortage of good skilled workers. And I think that seems to be the general problem at the moment when companies are looking to employ people. Yes, hiring of youth is a huge thing at the moment for South Africa, but yes, the driving of higher skilled workers is extremely in demand, and that's particularly with any kind of industry. So if you're looking at even your technical field, your artisans, especially your artisans, people want great skilled artisans. They want qualified artisans as well. But it also seems to be the issue of, are companies able to pay highly skilled people? So we look at our industry where we're trying to push for more individuals to be able to come into the market that might not have the skill, but they've really done their internships, they've done the apprenticeships. So you need to allow them to give them the opportunity to try and develop on those skills. And I think that's where the lack comes in, is that organizations are not giving people the opportunity to start gaining those skills, moving into the field of what they've studied for. That seems to be the biggest issue. But if we can try and get individuals to get greater skills through experience, I think that is the best way we can move forward. And as an agency, we really try and implement that to our clients. Try and get the youth people, try and get them to uplift them and get them skilled in their field, whether it be a technical or in a professional white collar environments such as your legals, your LLBs, those kind of areas. We all need to give that opportunity and develop on our skills and gain that experience.
Lots of echoing happening in our room today. I'm not sure why. Just be patient. Let's hope that will resolve itself. But yes, that is always a tricky part when it comes to people hiring. It's like people want always the experience, but they don't want to give people a chance to get started off. And I think employers sometimes can forget that, when you hire somebody who's fresh, who's just come out of learning, that they can normally mold within and adapt within your system or into your business, rather than, say, somebody who's been around for, say, 20 years and they might not be adaptable to change, perhaps.
It is the challenge, absolutely, Romany. But that's why we also are implementing within our company. We feel a very strong sense of responsibility to fill that gap, because we do find that clients just want the cream of the crop, and that's about it. So we have programs as well running within our organization, and these people are gaining critical skills. And we also, through our temporary employment services, are able to pick up the best talent that have been growing through, different companies, because they have to start small. And as they get exposed to the greater industry, and they also get to know exactly what it is they're passionate about, it becomes easier then to recommend them to a client and say, this is the person, they're still growing, but we've got proof that this person is absolutely skilled and will be able to grow quickly into this job or into this role.
Now, you mentioned about temporary, which is something I saw in an article that I read, that 5 predictions going forward is that we're moving more into a contract type of environment. Is that so? And how would candidates need to prepare for that?
Absolutely. So we're already starting to see a lot of our clients blending their model of employment, wanting to employ more people on a temporary basis for risk as well, to manage the risk in terms of their businesses, but also to allow people the flexibility that they need. Because some people really just want flexibility, and the easiest way to give it to them is to employ them on contract. And if we look at our European counterparts, it's actually quite common for them to employ on a temporary basis. And people's mindsets in general are in tune with that. So I believe we're definitely going that direction. It's going to be economically viable as well. And people will have the freedom to explore what they're really passionate about and settle where they need to settle or want to settle.
Yeah, I think people have to shift their mindset of that job security. And I think 2020 kind of just kicked that spearheaded walk going forward into changing, because it's so easy. And I've seen it during lockdown, where in the beginning of lockdown, people were hustling and trying to make things happen. And then as lockdown progressed and eased off, it's almost like kind of kicked back into the mindset, almost that comfortable space of, okay, now I'm back to work, I'm back to normal. But you can't, you've kind of got to look at life as, you know what, this has upset my life. Some of us end up unemployed overnight. You cannot look at it like that. You kind of got to generate more than one income stream or have backups, is what I'm sensing the world going forward.
Agree with you. And I think it also gives an opportunity for entrepreneurs to grow, because that's where people actually find their passions and they realize they can create employment rather than wait for companies to always be giving them employment. There's so many problems around us that we can easily solve if we just change our mindsets.
Excellent. I don't know what's happened to Nastassia. I was going to talk a little bit about the franchise opportunities. But at the same time, I was thinking about actually, everything went upside down today, but all good.
More like COVID.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. You just got go with the flow. So when it comes to franchise opportunities, especially with express employment, how does that look like, and what is that, and how does it work? Is that over to Nastassia?
Yeah. So, Nastassia, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. So,
okay.
So in essence, let's just give a bit of a background. So Tintswalo is going to touch on the actual benefits of becoming an express franchisee. But in essence, what we're saying is owning an express franchise means that you are really able to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So each office is office owned and managed, which means that you have the autonomy as the owner of your office to make certain decisions while still following the express recipe. So bearing in mind that buying into our franchise is not as simple as saying, right, I have the money to buy the express franchise, here's my money, can I have an office? So we have a screening process for each of our potential franchisees. And that means that we look at you as an ideal candidate. Are you meeting the requirements that we have in order for your office to be a successful office? So our brand keep very strong because of our successful franchisees. And that's because they've gone through a screening process. So in reality, an express franchise is really awarded by the franchisor, which is Express HQ. And before this can happen, we have an application process. And this application process, what we call is read. And the first step is to do your research. So do your research into our organization. We send you a franchise information kit. You have a look at what our franchise offering offers, what it entails to become a successful franchisee. And then over and above that, you need to do a bit of homework. So that means you need to go look at your territory, who are your competitors, where will you set up shop, and you need to also look at what is the potential business. Is this a territory that's going to earn me enough income to be a successful office? The next step is we have a look at your experience. So we have a look at your CV, we have a confidential questionnaire that you would need to complete. We will also require you to complete a disclosure agreement. From there, once your application has been submitted, we also have to do a due diligence. So that means we screen us. So we take you through the back office support team, whereby you have an appointment with the MD as well as the financial manager. Discuss our profitability report. So you need to understand what it's going to take to be a successful franchisee, what are the costs involved, and what it is that you need to play on your part in order to make sure that your offer runs at a success. So keeping in mind that while the potential buyer is evaluating how the Express concept fits their needs, we at Express HQ are comparing it to our other candidates all the time.
Well, you're getting a lot of love from the audience. If you've got any questions for Express professionals, Nastassia, Lamont, or Tintswalo, please ask your questions. Let us know what you want to know about recruiting and becoming a franchisee with Express Employment Professionals. So it seems like, you've got to know your location, go and have a look at the location, make sure that, and then you've got to submit your CV and then have a look at whether you fit in with the criteria or the culture within Express Employment Professionals. Yes, that's always important to be able to fit into the culture of the business. So anything you'd like to add to that, Tintswalo?
Absolutely. So we have a very strong culture of a family spirit here in Express, and that's very, very critical. And over and above that, we also have a way of operating. And I think if you're a business owner and you're wanting to, getting into a franchise system, you have to be aware that there's some things that you will probably have to let go of and cut with in order for you to get integrated into the system that has been proven over years, actually over decades, to be successful. And I think that becomes the challenge for a lot of people that are holding on to an idea of how it's supposed to go. You have to be an adaptable individual. You have to be really, really agile and adaptable, and you're going to fit in the culture very well.
I guess for some people, it's like deciding whether to start a business from scratch, or for those to fit in within a culture or within a business, their systems, adapting to the systems of how things work, going to the training. So what does that look like? What training do you offer? How do people, what do you offer in terms of training?
I'm really glad you asked that, because our training is very intensive, global standard, adapted from our Oklahoma City training academy, but also we've obviously had to adapt it to our South African way of doing business. So what we currently offer is our franchisees, brand new, come here for a week in Centurion at our head office for training. And they basically get all training pertaining to sales, pertaining to the IR, all the IT skills that they need to do, everything pertaining to that business, but mainly on the sales and that. And ongoing training on the job, because you need to be able to see it play out live. And that's where you get that continued support. And then over and above that, you also have an Express University. You all know that learning is no longer an option. You adapt or you die. So you've got Express University for your staff to also stay motivated and continue learning and growing themselves within the that are available within our franchise model. So within that, you learn about our ISO process. We are ISO certified, by the way. You learn about that, how to adhere to that standard and to keep it. Also learn about our marketing as well. Great marketing specialists that have obviously a way of but you get to benefit from that global and your national footprint as well with marketing. So we give you training on that, and just on the training, I say a lot more. That's in a nutshell what you get.
I like that you mentioned that we can no longer afford to just be happy with what we've learned, that it's almost like upskilling and learning has to become a way of life. I know within my own industry and with my own work that I definitely have to continuously upskill myself, especially with this fast-moving world, changing world. A lot of things are happening, a lot of things that we thought was going to be in existence is no longer going to be in existence going forward. Our whole way of working is changing, especially with the with artificial intelligence coming on board, with robotics. We're moving more into a interconnected world of smart cities, robotics, artificial intelligence.
Absolutely. And you make a good point there, because even for us as a business, AI is very critical, because our data is becoming bigger and bigger. And we have to report on big data now, and we have to have prediction models. We need to be able to maintain biometric systems and have them function optimally. So that's internally within the business, one of the things that are very critical. And, Express, luckily, we're able to handle that kind of growth as well because of our global footprint and support.
That also brings on a whole bunch of new set of skills too that people aren't even aware of, new skills, new positions. So yes, because there's sometimes this fears that robot will be taking away jobs, but that also means that a whole bunch of new jobs become open in the marketplace. And it's just time for you to actually sit and take the time and energy to explore those things. You can no longer just accept, well, you know what, this is what I've been doing for the last 10 years and it's still workable going forward. It doesn't work like that. So if you want to make yourself employable in the marketplace, you have to upskill. You have to make it an important part of your lifestyle, really. Excellent. So let us know, what are the minimum requirements when buying an Express office?
So the minimum requirement that we look at, as I said earlier, is we first look at your experience. So experience for us is really key at this stage. So we look at, for instance, has someone got the industry knowledge, background, understanding, and experience? It is extremely advantageous to have that. This is not a very easy industry to work in, but if you have the understanding and the knowledge, it's a very successful industry to be in, actually. So we look at your experience. With that being said, we look at, have you previously owned a business before? But we do have a lot of successful new franchisees who have come on board, who have been in this industry just as recruiters. So they haven't really owned a business, but they have been previous Express recruiters, and they're doing extremely well. We have a look. You need to have some sort of finances. You've got to be able to purchase our standard franchise fee, the initial franchise fee, and then over and above that, you still need finances in place to be able to open a shop. That means you need to, are you going to be paying rent in a particular CBD area where you're going to establish your offices? You need to purchase office equipment. You will need to pay for staff, all those kind of overheads. So for the next 3 to 6 months, do you have enough capital while you're still finding clients, while you're still finding business, to be able to run your office in the interim that you are starting to? So that is the minimum requirement that you would need.
Well, that was very insightful. And any closing remarks before we end off our discussion today?
Yes, I actually wanted to just add to what Nastassia said about experience, which is quite critical. Our business revolves a lot around paying people. It's a lot of financial activity going on there. So yes, you get support from us as one of our benefits. Payroll function, process your clients for you and everything. But you have to understand, your financial report. You have to really upskill yourself as well, even if as a franchisee. Understanding finances, how they work, your financial statements, and at the same time being able to understand that, payroll is really a critical part of your business because people are waiting on that wage after working so hard. So it's a really good benefit that we offer you that support. Make sure that you don't even have to worry about the logistics of it. That you come in and equip yourself with taking the knowledge that we give you and we just run with it. And yeah, there's a lot of things to think about. There's compliance things to think about, which are also taken by our HR, our team. But also governing concepts we also think about. But all of those things, you've got the support of experts that can really back you up and have you feeling confident that even if I don't know everything, there's always someone I can speak to about it. I don't know if Nastassia wants to add to that.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, in closing, our vision and our mission for this company is that we help good people with good skills find good jobs with good companies. And if you have a passion for people, you will be very successful in this organization, extremely successful.
Thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you so much for Tintswalo and for Nastassia for joining us today. I do apologize for any technical noise sound issues. We will see how the recording works, and then perhaps we'll invite them back to chat with us again about opportunities and what that looks like and what the recruitment side of the business, because there's two sides of the business: the employer side, where we have to consider who we're hiring, how that looks like, the type of person that we're hiring, and then from the candidate side, what jobs to apply for, how to apply, and how to prepare yourself to make yourself employable within in the job market sector. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. And just to give a bit background, because I forgot to do it in the beginning, Tintswalo Maluleke joined Express Employment Professionals in May 2017 as a franchise service consultant. She is a trainer, coach, and sales driver in the staffing and recruitment industry, training employment specialists, business developers, franchise owners, and front office coordinators on the recruitment process, effective interviewing, business development, tactics, and strategies. So Tintswalo provides franchise supports and drives sales development to help the Express office achieve their sales goals. And then Nastassia Lamont has been working for more than 12 years with Express Employment Professional. Nastassia has been in various roles within the organization, starting from recruitment consultant to business development to franchise sales, and now franchise developer, continuing with the weekly sourcing of potential new franchisees. As a franchise developer, Nastassia implements the HQ support system that is designed to strengthen the business of both the franchisee and the franchisor. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. If you have any questions, please, you can pop them in the comment box below. We will pass them on to Nastassia or to Tintswalo to answer for you. And thank you so very much for joining us today. And to remind everyone to please hit the like and share button if you know anybody who's looking for franchise opportunities specifically in recruitment, or as well as maybe somebody or job candidates who's perhaps looking for employment. And I just want to remind everybody once again that in closing, that is a non-profit organization that protects and develops for franchising across all sectors in South Africa, with a specific focus on transformation. FASA offers membership to both existing franchisors and franchisees who are interested in following a code of conduct. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your week further, whatever it is you're doing. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Romany.
Thank you so much. Bye.